The General Hospital recap for Friday, June 13th, shows that Sonny Corinthos offered Natalia Ramirez an escape to Belize, while Drew Kane pondered breaking up with Willow Tate for her own good. Maxie Jones persuaded Brooklyn Quartermain and Lulu Spencer into visiting her at the same time. Maxie planned to play peacemaker, but Lulu refused to apologize to Brooklyn. Marco Rios invited Alexis Davis to join him in his meeting with Natalia, but Alexis had to decline when she discovered Sonny was involved. Alexis later met Tracy Quartermain, who encouraged her to challenge Drew for custody of Scout Quartermain. Alexis refused to upend Scout's life again and advised Tracy to grovel to Drew, since she was at his mercy in the drugging case. Back with Marco, he learned about Natalia's legal situation and questioned her about the information she had on Sonny. Marco worried about Natalia's safety, but she was convinced that Sonny would not hurt her. Meanwhile, Sonny met with Jason Morgan to provide updates on his Natalia situation. Natalia was becoming a major issue for Sonny, so he summoned her with a proposal that would work for both of them. Sonny persuaded Natalia to accept his promise to establish a new life for her in Belize. Natalia was apprehensive to leave her children behind, but Sonny emphasized that it was preferable to jail time and would provide a new beginning. In Anna Devane's office, she asked Molly Lansing Davis about ADA Justine Turner's decision to handle Natalia's case herself. Molly later went to the law office, where she met Marco and discussed ADA Turner's ambitions. Harrison Chase and Dante Falconeri's animosity was evident at the PCPD. Dante was barred from participating in the Sonny-related case, which caused some friction. However, Dante was more unhappy with Chase for keeping Brooke's adoption a secret. Anna attempted to persuade Dante of Chase's point of view, emphasizing the importance of the partners working together peacefully. It was difficult for Dante because he no longer trusted Chase. In the end, Anna discovered Chase and Dante fighting again, and she decided she had to address it. Drew was dissatisfied with the custody decision and discussed the potential of an appeal with Martin Gray. Martin believed that the chances of that working were slim, and that it would just cause Willow more misery. Drew admitted that everyone believed he was the problem. Drew didn't agree, but he understood the perception and wondered whether Willow might be better off without him. Drew considered breaking up with Willow and moving to Washington, D.C., because Michael Corinthos couldn't take Drew's presence. With Scout, Drew then invited Jason to GH and asked him to pass along a proposal to Michael. According to General Hospital spoilers, Drew and Jason's meeting will soon be fraught with hostility, so don't miss out on the unpleasant news. The early morning air hung heavy over Port Charles, dense with secrets and tension that had no name yet could be felt in every breath. Natalia stirred her coffee quietly, standing near the floor-to-ceiling window of the Metro Court suite Sonny had reserved for her. Her eyes, which were typically full of life and fire, were darkened by strife. She wasn't simply watching at the sunrise. She was weighing her entire life against it. Behind her, the gentle click of the door opening was accompanied by the low voice she had come to know with equal parts danger and safety. "You didn't sleep." Natalia turned. Sonny Corinthos stood just inside the room. His gaze narrowed as it fell on her untouched bed. He wasn't asking, he was declaring, and she didn't bother to contradict it. "I couldn't," she answered. "There are too many voices in my head. Too many what-ifs." He went over to her carefully, as if giving her time to select what type of energy she required from him. That was one of the reasons Sonny was so dangerous. He wasn't only the mob boss everyone feared. He was observant, calculated, capable of compassion and ruthlessness in equal measures. And now he was providing her a way out. "I meant what I said last night," he explained, pausing alongside her. "I can get you out of here. Quietly. Belize is a tranquil place. Warm. You and Blaze might make a fresh start away from all of this." Natalia breathed slowly. "You make it sound like paradise." "It's not paradise," Sonny acknowledged. "But it is safe. No more press. No more muttered judgments. No more wondering if today would be the night someone punishes you for being in the wrong place at the wrong time." Her glance shifted over to him. "Or with the wrong man." His jaw clenched briefly, but he didn't bite. "I'm not wrong for you, Natalia." She looked away. "Perhaps not. But being around you creates a target on my daughter's back. Blaze is doing well right now, and I don't want her to lose everything because I couldn't walk away. I wouldn't let anything happen to her, Sonny stated gently. Natalia said, I know that. But you can't protect us from everything. A long quiet fell between them. Sonny could feel the walls she created, the cautious space she was creating between her emotions and her intuition. He'd seen it before from Carly, Brenda, and even Ava in her worst moments. Women in his sphere faced a decision between staying and risking everything or leaving. I'm not trying to control you, he finally explained. I'm offering you freedom. Natalia turned to face him, her gaze searching his. And what would you receive in return? His lips twisted into something bittersweet and fatalistic. Peace of mind. Knowing you're alive and not caught up in the aftermath if this thing I've built ultimately collapses. Natalia could tell from the way he stated it, calm and definitive, that it wasn't just about her. Sonny was circling something deeper. Perhaps a reckoning. Perhaps regret. Across town, Drew Kane looked out over the Quartermain estate, a tempest gathering behind his eyes. The morning sun did nothing to relieve the chill in his chest. Willow had departed for her shift at the hospital, ignorant to Drew's internal conflict, which had been going on for days. Weeks, assuming he was being truthful. The space between them was increasing. He attempted to dismiss it at first, attributing it to the stress of her rehabilitation, her return to work, and the children's routines. But it was not that. Not exactly. It was Michael. Drew clenched his jaw as he remembered his nephew, a former ally who had begun to drift into familiar, hazardous ground. Michael was always strategic, always thinking ahead, and he had recently been playing a game Drew wasn't sure he wanted to play anymore. Michael's watchful, focused gaze on Willow was unmistakable to him. Willow's prolonged silences when Michael entered the room didn't help either. Something had shifted. Or perhaps it was always there. Drew was weary of pretending he hadn't noticed. The door behind him quietly opened, and Monica entered with her usual calm grace. She noticed the look on his face right away. What's on your mind this early in the morning? Drew paused. Monica was a mother figure, a rock, a woman with a tangled history of pain and survival, and he trusted her. I don't know if Willow and I are on the same path anymore, he added gently, or if we ever really were. Monica did not respond immediately. She crossed the room and poured herself some coffee from the carafe next to the window. She loves you, Monica added. I know, Drew said. But I don't think she's in love with me anymore. He waited for Monica to respond with an argument, comfort, or denial. However, she didn't. Instead, she inquired, Is this about Michael? Drew turned his head abruptly. Do you see it too? I see a lot of things people try to hide, Monica explained. It's a gift you earn by surviving this family for as long as I have. Drew smiled grimly. I don't want to be the man who holds on to something that is already going away. I don't want to be the consolation prize if Willow's heart has begun to travel elsewhere. So what are you planning to do? Drew gazed down at the steaming coffee Monica had poured. I'm thinking of ending things. Before we damage one another any more than we already have. Monica placed her hand on his shoulder. Whatever you do, do it honestly. Willow deserves it. And so do you. Willow returned to the hospital and strode rapidly through the halls, clipboard in hand, her mind only half on her rounds. The rest of her was someplace else, caught up in the silent, unsaid tension that had crept into her morning conversations with Drew. They were still laughing, still holding hands in public. But there was a gap between their smiles now. A deepening quiet that could not be broken with words alone. She hated herself for thinking it, but she couldn't deny it any longer. Being around Michael made her feel understood. Alive. She felt as if she could breathe again, which she hadn't done in months. She turned a corner and nearly collided with Michael, who was standing outside one of the patient rooms, holding a cup of hospital coffee and looking distracted. Sorry, she exclaimed, frightened. Michael looked up surprised, then softened. Hey, you okay? Willow nodded too hastily. Yeah, just a long day already. Michael observed her. You look like you haven't slept. She offered him a half smile. Who sleeps anymore? Michael chuckled but said nothing. They shared a charged stillness, which had begun to feel familiar. Michael, Willow said, her voice softer. Are we doing the correct thing? Pretending that nothing has changed? He did not flinch. You tell me. Willow gulped. I don't want to hurt Drew. I don't want you to either, Michael explained. But I also don't want to watch you lose yourself trying to be someone you're not anymore. Willow averted her gaze, blinking away the emotion that sought to appear. What if I'm not sure who I am without him? Michael gently removed the clipboard from her grasp and placed it aside. Then softly, then maybe it's time you found out. Natalia plopped back down on the bed, her bags half-packed and her heart shattered. Sonny had left her alone to think and decide, and now the silence was deafening. She reached for her phone and displayed a photo of Blaze playing on stage, vivid and bold. That was the future she wished to preserve, not with fear but with courage. But at what cost? A knock on the door. She stood up, walked over and opened it, and there he was again as if summoned by her indecision. Are you still thinking? Sonny inquired. She nodded. I'm scared. He did not move. Me too. She gazed at him for a long time. If I say yes and leave with Blaze, what will happen to us? He drew closer, his voice steady. We survived. Perhaps not together straight immediately. However, they are alive. With a chance. Natalia's throat clenched. You always have the right words. No, he replied. Just the truth. General Hospital spoilers for Monday, June 16th, state that Jason Morgan will reject Drew Kane's compromise, while Jocelyn Jacks intends to spy on Professor Henry Hank Dalton's phone. Let's talk about what's coming up on Monday's exciting episode. Martin Gray will be at the Quartermaine estate to provide Tracy Quartermaine with legal guidance. Martin will suggest that both could win, therefore he may propose an arrangement between Tracy and Drew. Because Tracy was framed, Martin may encourage her to go out the true drug dealer. Tracy is thus acquitted, but Drew receives justice. Drew is well aware that Portia Robinson and Nina Reeves set him up for failure by using Jacinda, but he is keeping that information to himself for the time being. Jocelyn plans to speak with Vaughn about some information that may be on Professor Dalton's phone. If that information is available, Jocelyn will make every effort to obtain it. However, there will be a lot at stake because Professor Dalton is bound to be suspicious if she is found. Carly Spencer and Jack Brennan will focus on their romance at the Metro Court pool. Brennan will question what Carly means when she says she should have done it a long time ago. Carly will have a surprise gift for Brennan, so she will present it and touch his heart shortly. Could it be a key to Carly's house, or another love gesture? Anna Devane will enforce the law at the PCPD, alongside Harrison Chase and Dante Falconeri. The two of you aren't leaving until you work this out, Anna declares in the Monday GH teaser video. Because this scene will take place again in the lockup, Anna may confine Dante and Chase to a jail cell until they can figure out how to work together peacefully. Drew's attempt to negotiate a solution for Willow Tate on GH will fail swiftly. Although Drew summoned Jason in the hopes that he could return a proposal to Michael Corinthos, things do not go as planned. Until Willow sees it, there will be no compromise. Jason exclaims in Monday's teaser video. Drew earlier appeared to be willing to withdraw completely from the situation and depart Port Charles, but it may not be the pitch he makes in the end. Regardless, General Hospital spoilers indicate that Jason will continue to believe Willow is under Drew's influence, so stay tuned for updates as the drama escalates. The lights inside the Metro Court reflected off crystal glassware and chrome fixtures, but Jason Morgan didn't notice. He stood at the bar, arms crossed and jaw tight. Drew Kane came slowly and cautiously, as if the sound of his footsteps could cause another explosion between them. Drew had spent days devising the ideal compromise, something that would keep the peace, protect the kids, and prevent Sonny from acting recklessly. But as he saw Jason's steely look and inscrutable countenance, he felt the old anger return. The wall between them was no longer only about Sonny. It was about everything. Loyalty, betrayal, and identity. We don't have to fight, Jason, Drew stated carefully, his voice low. This doesn't have to be another line in the sand. Jason's voice was soft, but the edge was there. You crossed that line when you went behind my back. I didn't go behind your back, Drew insisted. I was trying to keep additional blood from spilling. Do you believe you can trust Sonny right now? He's unstable and unpredictable, and one wrong move could cost us all. Jason did not blink. You don't get to decide what's best for Sonny, or for me. Drew's rage flared. Do you think standing by Sonny no matter what makes you loyal? No, it makes you blind. The man you used to follow no longer runs the show, and you are aware of this. Jason's stare tightened. So what are your plans? Cut Sonny out completely? Turn over his business to Michael? Allow Carly to clean up your mess? It's not a mess, it's a step forward. Drew snapped, moving closer. We divide the territory, keep Sonny from escalating, and establish true authority over the group. No more turmoil. No more danger to those we care about. Jason's voice became lower. Do you think you can control chaos? Drew hesitated. I think we should try. Before it is too late. Jason shook his head and took a step back. No. You want to take over? Fine. But do not expect me to go along with it. I will not support a power grab disguised as a compromise. So, are you just going to let Sonny burn everything down? Jason didn't respond. He turned and walked away, leaving Drew alone at the bar, grasping the edge of the counter until his knuckles grew white. Meanwhile, across town at Rice Plaza, Jocelyn Jax pretended to drink her iced coffee, her gaze riveted on the man sat 2 tables across. John Dalton was comfortable, tapping away on his phone with headphones on, seemingly unaware of her presence, or so she thought. She'd waited until he thought she was in class, then crept in behind him and positioned herself so she could see everything. Her heart pounded. She knew she was crossing a line, but she needed to know. Something about Dalton did not add up. The late-night calls, the ambiguous responses, the strain in his jaw whenever she mentioned Sonny's name. It was all too familiar. She slid her phone from her bag and positioned the camera. The glare from the sun made things difficult, but she was resolute. She focused in on Dalton's computer, hoping to get a glimpse of the messages he was typing. Was that a contact labeled M. Novak? Her breath caught. Dalton suddenly stood up. Jocelyn's heartbeat stopped. She looked away quickly, pretending to text. He approached the counter, saying something about a refill. His phone was still on the table. It was now or never. She moved quickly, slipping into his seat as if she had lost something. Her fingers brushed on the telephone. It was not locked. He had not utilized Face ID or a passcode. Either arrogant or ignorant. Or both. She opened the mails. The contact's name was M. Novak. The texts were devastating. Shipment arrives tomorrow. Sonny's guy has no suspicions. Jason's interference may cause delays. Should I continue anyway? Target information confirmed. Corinthos safe house is on Pier 47. Jocelyn's throat clenched. It wasn't just dodgy. This was a hit. Dalton was working with the Novaks and had plans to take action against Sonny. Her hand trembled as she attempted to take screenshots. She hardly got 3 before the shadow fell over her. Dalton. He was standing just behind her. What are you doing? She looked up, her heart hammering, and tried to play it off. Oh hey, I was just looking for the charger I dropped. He smiled. But it did not reach his eyes. Are you always this nosy, Joss? She attempted to laugh. Only when I think someone's hiding something. Dalton sat back down gently, retrieving his phone. And what do you suppose I am hiding? Jocelyn leaned forward, gaze fixed on his. That you're not who you say you are. Sonny was pacing in the Corinthos estate. Dex had brought in a report of strange behavior at Pier 47, and Jason was now missing. Carly walked in just in time to see Sonny hurl a glass against the wall. All right, she said calmly. What now? I've got Novak's guys circling like vultures, Jason's gone rogue, and now I hear Drew's been meeting with Valentine behind closed doors, Sonny said. Everyone's got a plan except me. Carly folded her arms. Then make one. You are Sonny Corinthos. You don't wait for the storm. You create it. He gazed at her, his fury boiling beneath the surface. Not when the people closest to me are trying to cut me out. Carly softened. Jason's not your enemy. He's not acting like a friend either, Sonny said. Carly paused. He still believes in you. He simply does not believe in who you have become. Those comments struck harder than she expected. Sonny turned away. Do you think he's right? I think you've changed. We all do. But this does not imply you're done. You only need to reclaim control your way. Before Drew, Jason, or anybody else does it for you. According to General Hospital spoilers, Drew may want Michael to get full custody of the children he and Willow share. And that's because he has a selfish motivation as well. Continue reading below for everything you need to know. Drew wanted Michael to have full custody. There is widespread assumption that if Drew truly wanted Willow, he would help Michael obtain sole custody. Apparently, he doesn't care much about Wiley and Amelia or even Scout. That is why viewers of the program believe that if Drew truly desired Willow, she would be completely reliant on him if Michael won. Of course, Willow does not want to see this happen, but given Drew's manipulative nature, it is not surprising. Needless to say, GH fans have had plenty to say about the situation on social media. Curtis and Portia bring Jacinda back, which threatens Drew and Willow's relationship. Some have even said, "So much for Willow getting the kids legally. She's having a psychotic break and believes she's Nellie, and she's going to grab those kids no matter what. Is Willow going to lose custody of her children?" Another viewer of the show stated, "Drew just wants Willow because she is Michael's, therefore yes, he obsesses over Michael's children as well. And Michael represents the Q family and Jason's legacy, which are Drew's real aims." A GH viewer also commented saying, "He wants their shares in ELQ. That's why he asked Willow to sign the custody papers in case something happened. He's a nasty piece of trash. I don't understand it." As always, GH fans will just have to tune in every day to see what happens next. The world of General Hospital is seldom without drama, and the most recent spoilers indicate that Drew Cain may have played an important role in advocating for Michael Corinthos to get full custody of his son, Wiley. This bombshell has sent shockwaves across Port Charles, leaving viewers wondering about Drew's reasons and how it will affect the already difficult relationships between the Corinthos and Quartermain families. Drew Cain has always been a guy with a strong moral compass, frequently standing up for what he believes is right. However, his recent engagement in Michael's custody struggle begs the question of whether his objectives were completely humanitarian, or if there were deeper, more personal motivations at work. Some argue that Drew's actions are related to his tangled history with the Quartermains, his connection with Carly, or even his own unresolved thoughts about family and parenthood. Michael Corinthos has had multiple personal and legal confrontations with Wiley. From the devastating news that Wiley was actually Jonah, Brad and Lucas' kid, to the hard custody battles with Nellie Benson, Michael has worked relentlessly to defend the small boy he considers his own. With Drew's apparent support, Michael may finally gain full custody, but at what cost? If Drew did truly fight for Michael to acquire full custody, it may cause friction with other important figures in Wiley's life. Willow, Michael's wife, has always been a calming presence in Wiley's life, but her recent health issues have made her vulnerable. Is Drew's desire for Michael to have full custody a strategy to ensure Wiley's stability, or is there more to the story? Furthermore, the Quartermains have always had a stake in Wiley's destiny. With their riches and status, they have never been afraid to intervene in family problems. If Drew's actions are perceived as undermining their authority, it could cause a big schism within the family. Monica, Ned, and even Brooke Lynn may have strong feelings about who should play a role in Wiley's development. Then there's the issue of Carly Corinthos. Carly, Michael's mother, has always been passionately protective of her children. Her connection with Drew has been difficult, ranging from a close friendship to romantic conflict. How does Carly feel if Drew was the main cause behind Michael's complete custody? Does she perceive Drew as assisting her family? Or does she suspect a different motive? Another point to consider is how this impacts Wiley personally. Wiley, despite his early age, has already experienced a great deal of turmoil in his life. Stability is critical for his well-being, and a complete custody arrangement could give it, or it could lead to even more chaos if legal disputes ensue. How will Wiley react when he gets older and learns more about the issues surrounding his custody? In fact, no plot on General Hospital occurs in a vacuum. Drew's potential involvement in Michael's custody case may intersect with other important plots. For example, how will Sonny Corinthos react if he learns about Drew's role? Sonny has always been a strong figure in Michael's life, and his thoughts on Wiley's custody may influence the outcome. There is also the possibility of unforeseen alliances or betrayals. Could someone like Sam McCall, or maybe Jason Morgan provide insight into Drew's genuine motivations? The network of relationships in Port Charles is complex, and each decision has far-reaching implications. As fans speculate about what may happen next, one thing is certain: the custody battle is far from done. Whether Drew's actions were altruistic or planned, they have laid the groundwork for heated confrontations, emotional confessions, and potentially even legal battles. Will Michael eventually obtain full custody of Wiley? And if he does, how much will he and those around him pay? General Hospital spoilers reveal Lucky Spencer's devastating decision to leave Port Charles, announced after Elizabeth Baldwin turned down his passionate proposal, has sent shockwaves through GH fans' emotions. Lucky admits his impatience and desire to escape the town's constraints, and his departure, maybe due to a new WSB mission or personal quest, signals the end of his latest stint, leaving fans stunned and Elizabeth with an unclear future. As she copes with the loss of her epic love, her heart may open to new possibilities, with Rick Lansing prepared to pursue her again. Will Elizabeth discover love with Rick? Or will Lucky's departure haunt her, keeping her safe? Lucky's exit has sent supporters into a frenzy. Social internet is ablaze with emotions, ranging from despair to Jonathan Jackson can't leave JH again, in exasperation about his unfinished arc with Elizabeth. His decision, which may come as a relief as things continue to heat up with Rick's blackmail over Christina Corinthos Davis's brake tampering, continues a pattern of unrest seen since his departure in 2015. There is speculation that Jackson's departure may be brief, with some supporters expecting for a swift return, while others believe it will be permanent. Will Lucky's absence put an end to his journey, or will it allow him to make a comeback? Elizabeth's refusal of Lucky's proposal was motivated by self-preservation, understanding that his wandering spirit couldn't commit long-term, yet his departure still hurts deeply. Elizabeth may seek help from pals Terry Randolph or Lucas Jones when Aiden Weber returns to observe her deal with her loss. Her weakness, however, may make her sensitive to love, and Rick, whose relationship with her has been difficult but intense, is circling. His recent machinations, particularly the blackmail, may give way to genuine pursuit, especially if he sees an opportunity. Will Elizabeth let Rick in, or will Lucky's shadow make her cautious? General Hospital spoilers. Rick's opportunity or another dead end? Rick, ever the opportunist, has long held emotions for Elizabeth, and Lucky's departure clears the way. If Rick toned down his scheming, possibly expressing regret for his role in the Christina drama, he could appeal to Elizabeth's nostalgic side by reminiscing their heated history. However, her suspicions about his techniques, as well as the town's watchful eyes, including Sonny Corinthos, could complicate matters. Fans are divided, with some yearning for a Rick-Elizabeth reunion and others saying, Liz deserves better. Elizabeth stood alone on the hospital rooftop, the early morning sun casting a beautiful glow across Port Charles. The skyline shone with serene promise, but her heart felt hollow. Lucky had vanished, and not just temporarily. No more last-minute rescues or regretful reunions. He had left for Africa to pursue his humanitarian work, telling the children that he would keep in touch, but leaving her with only memories and questions. She had assured herself she would be all right, that she'd become accustomed to the cycle of Lucky going and Lucky returning. But this time seemed different, final, and that scared her more than she wanted to admit. At the nurse's station, Rick Lansing strode through the corridors of General Hospital with the quiet confidence of someone who had seen too much and regretted just enough to know better. He wasn't seeking for Elizabeth, not directly, but the thought of her had been lingering for quite some time. He had learned about Lucky's departure through the usual channels, murmurs from old friends and subtle nods from mutual acquaintances. Something inside of him shifted the moment he heard the news. A silent longing he'd suppressed for years. Rick hadn't seen Elizabeth in person for a long time. They'd met at family gatherings and shared the occasional text about Jake or Cameron, but their relationship was never truly healed. Time had blurred the edges but not obliterated the past. And now, the future felt open, unclear, and tempting. At Kelly's, Elizabeth drank her coffee gently. Epiphany had suggested her take a few days off, and she listened. She needed space. The kids were in school, and the silence was oppressive. When the dining door jingled open, she scarcely looked up, until she heard the voice. Liz. She turned, and there he was, Rick. In a black blazer and jeans, he appears older but also more steady. His eyes searched hers for a flash of recognition, a reminiscence of the past, or perhaps something fresh.